What is going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Microach Podcast. I'm always glad to be back on the microphone with you. And in this podcast, it's all going to be about trying to motivate you to not give up on life. This is an episode that I've wanted to do for quite some time now. And I didn't really do it because typically when you listen to people who are doing these kind of videos on YouTube, they're all millionaires and billionaires and sitting on yachts and jets and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just kind of that old Joe Smo guy that's in the fight with you, alongside with you. And so that's kind of the reason I've been kind of cowardice in that regard in doing this episode with you, because really, who am I to tell you to, or what you can do to keep up the fight? I'm just the average person, just like you, working a 9 to 5, working in the evening, doing a podcast, doing all kinds of things, raising kids, and I got a wife. And but the reason I wanted to do this episode and the reason that it means so much to me is because I feel like there's just a whole bunch of people right now that are kind of in a silent depression. Whether it be people that I work with, friends, family. There's so many people out here right now that are struggling, and it has to do with a lot of different factors. And so I want to touch on that just a little bit today. And I'm hoping that even one person can hear this, take this message, and maybe do something with it. Okay, so let's just jump into this thing and get something going. So, right now, I mentioned to you, about kind of a silent depression that I see people kind of in, just floating day to day, um, average, don't really have any purpose, in my opinion. A lot of people kind of don't have it because they just settle for jobs that they don't really like, they don't really want to do, but they just do it over and over and over again. It's been years since they've been at the job. They've gotten comfortable, they're in a groove, and so they don't really like change. They don't want to be uncomfortable, and so they just go with it. And they just continue with it over and over and over again. Even if they don't like the job, it depresses them every single day when they go to it. I understand. I know the feeling. And a lot of people have to deal with that and go through the motions over and over and over again because they believe that there's just nothing more at this point that they can do. And that's true. You know, and when I say that's true, I mean it's true from that mindset. That's what they believe, but it's actually not true. You can do many different things, and even if it's after work, you can build something for yourself. You see, in life, it's key that you enjoy doing something, whether it's a hobby, whether it's just something you like to do for a few minutes after work, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. But you got to be able to do something for yourself to enjoy your life. You can't just go to a job that you hate from 9 to 5 for your entire life. Do nothing afterwards on the weekends or anything for yourself and think you're going to be happy. It's just not possible at this point. You have to do something for yourself, whatever it may be. Another thing, healthy body, healthy mind, in my opinion. You got to take care of your body. You got to be exercising. You got to eat right. If you don't feel right, you're not going to be able to perform properly. If you have a car and you put the wrong gas in there, you're not going to perform properly. Your car is not going to be able to drive properly. It's not going to be efficient. It's the same thing with your body. You have to be able to take care of your body. Eating right, working out, exercising, keeping the smoke out your lungs, making sure you're not drinking too much. All of that, all of those things matter. They all matter. Bad financial situations, that really takes a toll on your mind as well. And you got to be very careful with that. Because if you're in a whole bunch of debt and you just can't see a light at the end of the tunnel, it's going to wear on you mentally over and over and over again. trust me, it does not feel good. It doesn't feel good. And anybody who's listening to this who's in that situation, trust me, you know. Sometimes you can't sleep, you're probably not eating right and all that kind of stuff. It's 100% to your detriment. And I'm not talking about like some small debt that you can get out of in a week or two. I'm talking about something where, like I mentioned, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It takes a toll on your mind. It hits you heavily. And so you got to be able to take care of that. But the only way that you can do that is you have to be disciplined. And if you're not disciplined, then it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. You have to build some type of discipline. Some type of discipline. Or else what really are you going to be able to accomplish? One thing that I've realized specifically for me, and I think this is in regards to a lot of people as well, you got to write things down. Because one thing that I'm realizing for myself is that if I don't write things down, there's probably a good chance it's not going to get done. Because when I write things down and I look at it over and over and over again on paper, it's a constant reminder of what needs to get done. And procrastination is also one of those things that are going to hinder you. You got to stop procrastinating. You got to put a timeline pretty much on everything that you do. In regards to small things and getting things done, daily schedule, weekly schedule, monthly schedule, yearly schedule, whatever works for you. I don't have all the answers. I'm trying to help you figure something out right now on a way that you can stop procrastinating and start getting things done for yourself. Try different things. Try a whole bunch of different things. You don't know what may work, what may stick for you. Guys, I mentioned to you that I have a 9 to 5 broadcast assistant in sports during the NBA season. I just went to go work at the G7 with all the different presidents and prime ministers from around the world in June last month. I'm trying to do a whole bunch of different things because I don't want to be comfortable just doing one thing. You got to expand. You got to try and do a whole bunch of different things to see what sticks, see what you like. I remember one game when I was at work and we were playing against the Dallas Mavericks. For those of you that don't know, I'm a broadcast assistant for the Toronto Raptors, but I was at work one night and I saw Mark Cuban. And we were kind of exiting the same time, or I was at least walking in the same direction as him. I think he was going to the Dallas bus because the game was over. And I saw Mark and I said, mind if I ask you a question? He said, no, man, not at all. Shoot away. And I said, if this was the last time I was ever going to see you to talk to you, what is one piece of advice that you can give me? And he said, do something that you love to do. Because if you do something that you love to do, you won't give up at it. You won't quit. And so I agree with that because you got to remember, and I mentioned this to you before, when you have that 9 to 5, you can build something for yourself after that from 6 to 8, 7 to 8, 30 minutes, an hour and a half. Don't get me wrong. I understand that it's difficult to do. It is tough because a lot of the time you're exhausted when you come back from work. You don't have anything left. But if it's something that you love, if it's something that you're passionate about, you'll do it. And you don't have to start big. That's the thing. That's the great thing about it. You just have to put in a little bit of time, but you got to be consistent about it. You got to be consistent about it. And so overall, you need to start having tough conversations with yourself about what is it in your life that is not making you feel fulfilled? What is it that's holding you back? A big part of it is fear. And it's fear because we care so much about what other people have to think. We care so much about what other people have to say. When in all actuality, we should not give a damn about what other people think about us. Where is my pen? We shouldn't care about what other people think about us because at the end of the day, those people ain't paying our bills. How much do these people actually give a damn about how we actually feel as people? How much do they care about how much you want to live your dream? How much do they care about what you actually want to do in life? A lot of those people, they don't give a damn. Everybody is worried about their own life. And that's why you shouldn't give a damn. Nobody even cares what you want to do for the most part. They don't care. People, you've been seeing me doing a podcast for years, probably more recently on YouTube, but you've been seeing me do a podcast for years on Spotify and Apple. And you saw me doing the podcast Hustle Play with Chris Boucher. And I was doing the Micros podcast even before that. I was a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not doing this right now because I get paid for this and I'm getting big money for this. I'm just doing this because it makes me feel good. I like sending out a message to you. I want you to be able to live and do what you want to do. You live once, and you don't want to spend your entire life doing a job that you hate. You don't want to spend your entire life not taking a chance or not taking a risk at doing something in life because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. It doesn't matter. Other people are going to think things about you regardless anyway. So what does it matter? The next thing, social media. You really got to be careful about staring at social media all damn day. It will destroy your brain. It will destroy the way that you think. It will pull you in all different directions. Because what you're doing is you're comparing yourself to the highlight reels of others. And you cannot compete and you cannot compare to the highlight reels of other people. They don't show you the bad parts. They don't show you where they're struggling mentally or physically. They don't show you the struggle that they might have in their marriage or the struggle that they have socially or with family, financially. They don't do any of that stuff. They just put a picture up there or video, whatever the case may be. And then you're stuck thinking, wow, this person has an amazing life. What a great life that this person has. Oh my goodness. Guys, social media is not real. It's not real because if it was real, you would see all the struggles, all the hurt, all the depression, you would see all of those things on everybody's page because the majority of people, not the majority of people, everybody has issues. Everybody has struggle. Everyone has things that they have to deal with. And you don't see those things on social media. You have to know and understand that. If you don't understand that, and you're just staring at people's lives, pictures, and videos, your mind is going to be warped. You're not really going to understand what's going on. And so you got to be very careful about what you're staring at all day in regards to social media. You got to leave people behind. That's the next thing sometimes. Sometimes you got to move on without people. People who aren't constantly rooting for you. People who aren't willing to tell you the truth. People who are always wanting to party and hang out and make bad decisions and smoking weed every day. And dude, you don't have time for that. Especially if you're broke. You're trying to make something of yourself. You're trying to do something for yourself in some type of capacity. You don't have time for all of that stuff. People who are constantly negative, depressed. Dude, you got to move on from that. You can't be around all those people all the time because people like that, they suck the energy out of you. They suck the energy out of you. You can't be around people like that all the time. You can't have a victim mindset. Guys, we've all been in bad situations, negative situations. But it doesn't mean you have to stay there. Doesn't mean you have to stay there. Eventually, you have to make choices for yourself. You got to make a choice for yourself and be like, listen, man, yo, I'm overweight. My health isn't looking too good. I got to make a choice here. The choice is always yours. You're in a bad financial situation. You got to make a choice to sacrifice. Cut the credit card up if you have to. Put away the fast food. Start cooking your own food. You're in a bad situation with work. You got to figure out a way to get some more skills. You got to change that resume. You got to reach out to people. And listen, folks, I don't have all the answers. I always tell you that. But what I'm telling you is you need to take some type of action. Nothing is going to change by itself. You got to do something. You can't sit on your ass and expect that things are just going to magically change. It's not going to happen. You got to learn to be uncomfortable at times. It's just a part of it. It's a part of life. It's a part of growth. If you're not uncomfortable at times, there's no growth that's going to happen. Tough conversations. You got to ask yourself tough questions. But you got to be willing to live with the answers if they're the truth. And so listen, I'm in the fight. I'm in the struggle with you. I'm trying to figure out my own life. As a guy who's working, a father, a husband, speaking in schools, I don't get paid for any of this stuff. I'm trying to figure out life. I'm trying to give back and help in some type of capacity because that's what keeps my cup full. You have to find what it is that you want to do. Find what it is that you love to do. If I wasn't working in sports, trying to work with young people and just doing a bunch of different things, just doing that 9 to 5 alone, that would be death for me. That would be brutal. Do something that you love. Take action. You got to stop talking and start doing. Me included, all of us. I feel like I can do more. I know I can do more. And at some point, you got to say, enough is enough. And you got to start doing. So, folks, don't give up on life. You just got to bunker down. Get in the comments. Let me know what you feel. Let me know what your frame of mind is like, what you're thinking about. And if you reach out to me, I might try to help you. Get in those comments. Let me know. I'll book a meeting with you and we can talk. Folks, it is your boy, Mike Roach. I will be back again soon. Peace. I'm out.